Hi. So, as Matt Mullenweg once said, I have all my flashcards and stuff. As Matt Mullenweg once said, technology is best when it's bringing people together. Today, I'm here to persuade you on the idea that technology does bring us together instead of dividing us. Many Americans believe in this notion of a digital divide, which is caused because of access and economic status because of cost, which can lead to a lack of information, lower performance computers for some, and lack of skills and lack of education, which I do believe can create some sort of divide between us, but I do believe that the positives outweigh the negatives here. So this topic is relevant to this audience because I think that this generation relies heavily on technology, as we all have smartphones in our hands majority of the day. We also have the current COVID-19 pandemic going on, which has caused a lot of fully remote learning, and a lot of our communication because of a quarantine is done online. I have enough credibility to speak on this topic because I myself use technology every single day, and I know a lot of the positive sides of it, and I also have done a lot of research on this topic for this speech. So my first main point is that technology creates and strengthens relationships and bonds through social media, video games, and photos that you can share online. My second main point is that technology has been bringing people together while coronavirus is tearing them apart. And my third main point is that technology has definitely allowed for more jobs because of an advance and more people being needed to be on teams and collaborate with them and everything like that. And once something gets released from these technological jobs, people are usually very interested in it, and then they all come together and are very excited for what's to come, such as apps, such as new iPhones, things like that. So now that we know what we are going to discuss today, let us first look at how technology creates and strengthens relationships. My first main point is that technology strengthens and creates bonds and relationships through social media, video games, and allows for people to share memories forever through this digital world. Social media is a great example because this can affect workplace relationships, friendships, family relationships, romantic relationships, everything. According to Michigan State University, we either form strong or weak bonds, which are strong ties are more of someone that you put all of your time and energy into. You are very close to them, such as a very close best friend and family. Now, the weaker ties are people that you may not put as much energy towards, but you are friendly with them. And social media allows for you to get to know someone a lot better because you can look at their social media page and see what their interests are and see if they match yours. See if you maybe want to do become friends and let the friendship flourish. Think about when you were going to college and applying and looking for people at your school to be friends with, to be roommates with. You went right to Instagram, Facebook, and were scrolling, looking at people, what they like, what they don't like, who they are as a person, pretty much. And basically, the possibilities are endless in social media because you could talk to anyone, anywhere, at any time. So video games are another big thing for connections because I know a lot about this. I know a lot about the world of video games because I have two younger brothers who I hear playing every single night. Sometimes I'll play with them, but I know that they have become friends. I know that they play with some of their friends from around here, but they have made friends out of state just for mutual love of the video game that they're playing. They have become best friends. They're still best friends. They're waiting to meet one day. And I know this is very common in that kind of world, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. Another new and a very new kind of career choice that someone can have is a social media influencer. Now, these are kind of people that have, let's say, a YouTube channel, Instagram, a TikTok, something like that, and they get a lot of followers and they're kind of making money off of what they're doing. So this brings people together because they have these conventions. Now, if everybody likes this one person, this one influencer, you must have something in common, that person. So when you go to these conventions and you meet all these people, you're making friends instantly. And this job as a whole wouldn't even be possible without technology. So moving on from how technology can form and strengthen bonds, I'm going to move on to my second point. So, my second point is that technology is bringing people together while coronavirus is tearing them apart. The first group that this affects are people that are in the hospital during this COVID time, even if it's not for COVID, but there are a lot of restrictions. According to the Medical University at South Carolina, there's a limit of 2 visitors per patient. Even the people who are in the ICU and are very close to death, which is very hard for anybody to deal with, aren't allowed to have more than 2. The nursing units in Charleston, Lancaster, and Florence were all shipped iPads to FaceTime and Zoom family members so that they can have that one last conversation. But they are, however, also used to engage family members in care planning and important updates. So it's kind of a win-win situation. We have become reliant on Zoom for online schooling. That's the next point. Now, almost all schools either have the full online learning or the option for it. This Zoom allows you to speak to your professors, speak to your classmates, so on. According to the New York Times, the daily usage of Zoom skyrocketed from 2 million to more than 6 million in less than a month since the first COVID-19 death in the US. It was crazy. We have moved our classrooms and offices to our basements and living rooms, possibly our bedrooms. If we didn't have this technology, I'm not so sure where we would be education-wise, because we wouldn't have a Zoom class to talk to. Another idea is that Zoom Meets and the Meets by Google with your friends. Now, this allows you to, instead of going out for a movie, going out to dinner, doing this, doing that, you can do it all on Zoom. You can have a game night, and it allows you to just feel a little bit less isolated. You know that you have your people there, you can talk to them, pretend like you're not talking to a computer, and it's kind of just another way to feel a little bit better during a hard time. So, now that I've talked about how technology has helped maintain relationships through the coronavirus pandemic, my final point is that the advancement of technology has created more jobs for the country. So my last main point is that technology has actually created more jobs for this country, and we know that workplace relationships are usually bound to happen. We have social media managers, we have app developers, digital marketers, all kinds of careers that people wouldn't have seen coming years ago. Without people to do these jobs, we wouldn't have this internet to connect with people. So they really keep this kind of thing going, and we really have them to thank in the end. So now that we've looked at all the ways that technology brings us together, we're going to wrap things up. I have talked about how technology has created and strengthened our bonds with others through social media and video games, how technology has helped everyone keep in touch during this pandemic and has created more jobs, which ultimately brings us together as a whole. I hope that this speech has made you think about all the positive ways that technology has affected you in your life, and the next time that you pick up your smartphone, you think of the limitless amount of possibilities.